to all my fellow nerds, and welcome to Let's Talk Nerd Podcast. In today's episode of Game Talk, we will be discussing about a video game that I believe to be the perfect game that has been released in years, Deep Rock Galactic, a game of danger, darkness, and most importantly, dwarfs. In a quick summary, Deep Rock Galactic, also known as DRG, is a first-person shooter co-op game where you play as a dwarf who goes to a planet called Haxes 4 to collect resources for the company that you work for. Deep Rock was released February 28th, 2018. The game was made by a small group of developers who previously worked for a company called Pressplay, but was shut down by Microsoft to then make their own company called Ghost Ship Games. DRG is a perfect game with a passionate team of developers, perfect gameplay, and a spectacular design. So let me tell you why Deep Rock Galactic is the perfect game. In DRG, you get to pick one of 4 classes that you can play as. They each have their own weapons and abilities. The gunner, like it says in the name, he shoots a lot with big weapons. He has a protective dome, and he has a zip line that anyone can use. There's a driller. He's able to mine quicker than any other dwarf, and he has these saddle charges that can blow stuff up. Then he usually has like elemental weapons, a flamethrower, a gyro cannon, and a poop launcher. And then there's the scout. The scout has a grappling hook that can take him anywhere that he pleases. He has a flare gun that can shoot flares that are very bright from far distance. So it makes the basic flares in the game look sad. He usually has a single target damage weapons like a semi-auto rifle or an assault rifle. Then there's the engineer. He usually makes turrets that can shoot at enemies, and then he makes platforms so then his teammates can get around places. He has stuff like shotguns and grenade launchers. Now since you picked your class that you wanted to play, you can now pick any missions. There's a variety of missions you're able to choose from. There are simple mining missions where you go to the cave, you collect a mineral called morkite that you can then deposit into a robot called Mule. There is an egg hunt, which you look for alien eggs and deposit it into Mule. Sometimes the horde activates, but because you're stealing their children, pretty much. There's on-site refinery. You look for something called liquid morkite. You call in a kind of like a oil depositor or something to collect the morkite. Then you connect pipelines from your big drill area, and you connect that to the liquid morkite, and you have to protect it from enemies. There are salvage operations. So you look for tiny mules that were left behind from previous workers, then you repair them, and you get the drop pod working again. There's point extraction, where you look for giant blue crystals in what's called I'm going to say this wrong. Aquaric. So after you get the aquaric, you deposit it into a new machine called a minehead, and you do not have Molly for this, or Mule, however you want to say its name. Then there's escort duty. Escort a drill dozer to the Heartstone and protect it from enemies. And after it reaches the Heartstone, you want to still protect it while protecting yourself, because enemies and the big Heartstone is going to try to attack it. Then finally, we have we have elimination, where you kill these giant tough enemies from these big eggs, and they're kind of like mini bosses. And now you have industrial sabotage. You mess with another company's equipment, and then you fight a big boss called Caretaker. Then after you defeat the Caretaker, you defeat it and you return home. Now this may seem boring because you have to do it repetitively and all of that, but the game has so much replayability because not only do you get to pick a variety of missions, you get to play classes that you get to upgrade. The cave system is unique and special. The caves in the game are procedurally generated, which means that in each mission, it's going to be different than the last. So, for example, you can have an open area in one cave. The next area, it's so closed and only tunnels, and there's only small tunnels that go through it. And I know that isn't that interesting because, oh wow, so many games have procedural generating. They're still sometimes boring, like Minecraft or survival games. But guess what? There are 10 areas that you can choose from. They're all different from one another. So the caves themselves have challenges. So like in some caves, you might have to deal with sandstorms or snowstorms. In other caves, you have to deal with stones that will shock you and do a buttload of damage to you. Then you have caves that have living vines that want to kill you. You don't know what to expect. Hell, there are little caves that have like volcanoes everywhere and the floors are like burning in a lot of areas. The plants want to try to kill you as well. So with these kind of caves, they are so unique that you don't know which one, like what you're going to encounter in them. And it makes it so much more fun. Now, what is a game without creatures? Because, sure, the caves are going to bring up challenges, but you can easily get rid of them. But you need creatures. And guess what? There are creatures in every single cave. There are some that will actively attack you. Then there are creatures that are just there trying to vibe. They do not want to kill you. Now, of course, there are going to be different types of creatures. And in every cave there will be the same kind of creature. But there are certain caves that have unique creatures to them. For example, there's this one cave that has these creatures that don't even want to attack you, but you're able to interact with them and are able to use them as like a glider, and you don't. They are optional. You don't have to use these creatures at all. The devs could have put weeks into making that creature, days. The developers could have worked so hard on them, and people would just build them up. But that's what's awesome, because you have creatures that are unique to one specific area. And I find that so cool because not a lot of games are able to do that successfully. Now, the gameplay itself is cool, but like I stated earlier, it's a co-op game. And I know some of you will be asking, what if I don't have friends to play with? I don't have any friends. I'm a loser. Guess what? That doesn't matter. You're able to play by yourself. It's an option, and sure, it's going to be more difficult. But luckily, the game gives you a robot companion besides Mule, Bosco. Bosco is your best friend because he's better than actual players. Because guess what? You can ping out ore. Bosco, he's gonna fly up there and he's gonna mine it for you. You see an enemy and you need help with it. Guess what? Ping the enemy. Bosco is gonna shoot at it. So you're able to play this game by yourself, even though it's a co-op game. And if you don't like Bosco, you can join other servers. No one cares. We want more people to play with. So playing alone is an option that you can do if you do not have anyone to play with. Out of all the things I've talked about already, these aren't the reasons why I made this episode. I have around 50 hours total in the game. That isn't a lot. That's a lot for me though. And within those 50 hours, I realized what made me fall in love with the game. Is it the hub area that has all kinds of activities. You have soccer, you can drink with your pals, you can literally play Flappy Birds, and doesn't feel like it's just a mission selector area. No. Is it the free cosmetics that are stunning and impressive that you can get by playing the game? And there's cosmetics that you can buy with money that are still as cool. And the developers don't shove that kind of like, they don't shove it down your throat being like, buy this, buy this. Is it that? No. Is it that they include a free battle pass where you don't spend any money on it at all? Maybe. But what made me love this game is the community. The community of DRG is the friendliest and the most entertaining community I've ever been a part of. I played countless games in the past. League, Overwatch, Call of Duty, freaking Stardew, and I've seen toxic people on there, either in game or online. And I have 50 hours on this game. So many missions where I've lost, so many missions where I've won. And guess what? I've never met a single person that's been rude, because when we lose, right? Instead of people being like, "Hey, this is your fault." No, it's your fault. Guess what? We respawn back in the hub area, and we start doing the salute that every DRG player knows. For rock and stone. This community is the best, and I wanted to make this episode to show my love for this game, my love for this community. I wanted people to know about this game. Guess what? You don't even need a mic to talk in this game. You can type, no one cares. You can ping, and the pings will tell you everything that you need to know. This community is the best ever, and I don't understand why they're so nice. Deep Rock Galactic is perfect because the developers behind the game actually put their heart into making this game. They're not shoving microtransactions down your throat. They're not shoving unnecessary fixes in the game. They are doing what every game should do. They should put love into it. And no other game has been able to accomplish what Deep Rock has been able to accomplish. Deep Rock is always going to have a place in my heart. It's special to me. And I hope after listening to this, you will also understand why this game is perfect and why I love this game so much. Thank you for listening and have a fantastic day. Bye-bye! Hey, so I wanted to let you guys know this. I will not be uploading next week on the 10th of February or the 11th of February. And that's not because I'm taking a break. No, it's because for this next week, I want to focus on making better episodes for you guys. I want to make better scripts. I want to make better listening and a better visual standpoint for those on YouTube. I want to work on this for a little bit more, so I'm taking a break just to start fixing what I need to be fixed. I'll be uploading more episodes the week after, maybe 2 to 3 more, and I hope you guys love this series. Hope you guys love listening to me, because I love making these so much. Thank you, and now, finally, bye-bye.